Hello, this will be another installment of the Soviet anti-racism theories, opposing Jim Crow and supporting civil rights. We will be taking a look at the Soviet Union's policy of anti-racism. After the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics was established, the government began to attack the United States as the most racist nation ever. One of the early campaigns was for the young men of Scottsboro, Alabama, and on March 14th, 1932, the Belarusian branch of the International Organization to Aid Revolutionary Militants made a pamphlet. The pamphlet informed readers the arrest and the trial of the 8 black teenagers in Scottsboro, Alabama, U.S., aged 12 to 20, sentenced to death at the false allegations of raping 2 white women. This was a report from a part of a Yiddish Jewish newspaper. This pamphlet put out a call to Soviet citizens to protest the lynch justice, as lynch justice prevailed across the American South. They also stressed that there was a lynch justice against all Americans across the country by the bourgeoisie or ruling class. Moving on. Quoting Meredith L. Romans opposing Jim Crow. In contrast, the Soviets represented the USSR as a superior society where racism was absent and identified African Americans as valued allies in resisting an imperialist war against the first workers' state. There was a saying within the Soviet Union, in English, and you are lynching Negroes, and in Russian, a ya vas negro lynchudin, which means in your country you're lynching Negroes. Sorry. This became a saying wherever people brought up a human rights issue inside or outside the Soviet Union. However, it was actually popular in the Tsarist or reactionary Russia as well. In the case of the deaths of the anti-Jewish pogrom in Kishinev, the Russian Minister of the Interior at the time, Vyacheslav von Pleve, pointed out that yes, Russian peasants had done a bad negative thing, and they were motivated by excited and biracial hatred. But were they any worse than the people of the southern United States, lynching blacks? A Ukrainian politician named Dmitry Manuskovsky claimed the relationship between whites and blacks was similar to that of the Great Rus and the Ukrainian. Once again, going forward, many black Americans that went to the Soviet Union knows that Jews were able to achieve full civil rights. Claude McKay stated, "For the American Negroes, the indisputable and outstanding fact that the Russian Revolution is a mere handful of Jews, much less than the American population, have attained, though through the revolution, all political and social rights that were denied to them under the regime of the Tsar." For many Jewish communists in the Soviet Union, they sympathized with the black American cause, frequently reported on the violence against them. For many of them, they remembered the violence and lynchings from the Black Hundreds, and for both of them, the Black Hundreds and the Ku Klux Klan was a real threat to them. In the 60s, the Soviet Union came out in support for civil rights movement in the United States. This purpose was to show the world that the USA was not the leader of the so-called free world, and the so-called quote-unquote colored world could not rely on them for independence, although this really wasn't the case. The Communist Party USA supported the civil rights movement and helped the USSR spread the message. The USA at the time was calling out the USSR for attacking its own citizens in Eastern Europe. They widely publicized the Little Rock Nine and the shooting of 3 civil rights workers in Mississippi in 1964. Also, the October 1962 shooting of James Meredith at the University of Mississippi. From Leona Tate, Ruby Bridges, Tessie Prevost, and Gail Etion, or the New Orleans Four. The Soviet press would show these cases to show American racism, but it was also to show that these people that opposed the Soviets in the Eastern Europe were Nazis and anti-Semites. Another reason to point out this was to make the U.S. claim that the government of the United States was similar to that of the Tsarist regime. The USSR would state from the Tsarist Russia to Nazi Germany to the United States, it's clear the Ku Klux Klan are running the show. They are just as Tsar did here with the Black Hundreds. One murder in particular hit the Soviet press, other than the Scottsboro Boys, was the murder and lynching of a young teenager in Mississippi named Emmett Till. These would continue to be the most recognizable cases that most Soviets knew about, since it is still taught in some schools and universities. Okay, thank you for listening.